also add into the pair a third element, which would be how much money you'd like to amass in 5 years, because that's, midterm, something somewhat in your control, have some visibility. So all of that's well and good, but you have to track your progress. So can you talk about your thoughts about tracking your progress? And maybe you could just, I assume you agree with me, can you confirm that your thinking, as you've met with lots of people, is that's an area where they don't pay enough attention to? They might establish goals, but they don't keep track, which leads to less of a chance that you're successful in achieving the goals.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about it being important, and most people do tend to fall down there. Like you mentioned SMART goals earlier. This is the M in SMART. It's, number 2 in that list is to measure the goal. It's very important because, one, again, if you don't measure the goal, how are you going to know if you accomplished it? But even more importantly than that, tracking that goal along the way actually gives you the momentum to achieve it. And you do want to be careful because you can over-measure. I use weight loss a lot as an example because it's something most people can identify with. But every doctor, everyone that's involved in weight loss will tell you don't get on the scale every day.
Right.
Because you don't see enough of a change in one day, it becomes discouraging. However, you do need to get on the scale on a regular basis, once a week, once every 2 weeks, to know if what you're doing is working. And also, it gives you that boost. If you're trying to lose 30 pounds and you get on the scale and you see you're down 10 pounds already, that gives you the enthusiasm to go, yes, I can do this.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
And, same thing with retirement. If you're trying to save $1 million and you take a look in the retirement account, look, you've already saved $150,000. Well, that gives you that incentive. Yes, okay, I've still got a long way to go, but look at the progress I'm making. And tracking that progress is so important, both for your mindset in achieving the goal and for making sure that what you're doing is working. Remember, we were just talking about, no plan survives contact with the enemy. Yeah. If what you're doing is not working, you need to know that so that you can shift. If you've got a portfolio that's got, 4 stocks in it and those stocks are not doing well, you need to know that because you probably shouldn't be in those stocks.
There you go. There you go. It reminds me of the adage, how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
There you go. No, that's good. And, one of the focal points here as we meet and work with clients, you probably don't know this, Eric, is that I'm a huge proponent. I've done it for myself, and it's done wonders for my wealth building and my goal achievement, is to have a net worth statement. So you know how a business has a balance sheet.
Yep.
And so we advise our clients they should have a net worth statement. They should have a list of all of their assets, a list of all of their liabilities, if they have any, their debts, student loans, mortgages, car loans, credit cards, that kind of stuff. And regularly, I can't even say that word, regularly keep track of their net worth, which you find by taking your assets and subtracting out your liabilities, your debts, to arrive at your net worth. And of course, the goal is over time is to increase your net worth. And how are you going to increase your net worth? Well, there's really only 2 levers that could be pulled. One is to increase your assets, and 2 is to reduce your debts, ultimately getting that to 0. But I have found for myself, now look, I'm an A personality. I'm a financial geek. I love reading self-help books and time management and all of that stuff. I may not be typical to all of my listeners, but by doing this and having the net worth statement, now I review it every quarter. Again, I'm a big-time geek, but I think at least if you did that and reviewed it twice a year, it's very motivational, like you said. When I see that my assets are increasing, I still have some debts. I'm close to being completely debt-free. In fact, I'm 48. By the time I'm 50, I'll be completely debt-free. And I find it unbelievably motivating when I see, and I could go back and track how my wealth has increased over these many years as I've kept track. So we communicate that to our clients, and whether you're a geek like me or somebody that really is only paying attention to finances and money because you have to win with money, you get great motivation and enthusiasm by tracking and seeing how you're winning with money increasingly and how the smart decisions you're making are paying off as you increase your wealth. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, that's very important. Again, you do need to check periodically. And one of the things I've found with many people is the reason they don't keep track of the goals and check back on their progress is because they're afraid to see that they haven't made it. Absolutely. They're afraid to see that they've backslid. And you have to get over that fear, because first of all, it's okay to not be where you think you should be, or even to fall back a little bit. That happens.
Sure.
But if you don't know that it's happened, you can't take steps to fix it.
That's absolutely right.
So you've got to get over that fear of checking. It's, again, if you gained a pound instead of lost, it's not the end of the world. If your portfolio went down a little bit, it's not the end of the world. Maybe you need to rebalance the portfolio. Maybe you need to switch your diet up. But unless you know what your results are, you don't know if you can do that, or you don't know which direction you need to make those changes.
That's very well said, which actually brings me to my next point, which is about accountability. And tracking your progress can be incredibly motivational, as we just spoke about, but it also is an accountability tool, because if I stick with my plan and I do my net worth statement every quarter, and I look and I wasn't successful that quarter, I need to be accountable to myself, to my wife, to my children. And by looking at that, and agree with you 100%, keep it in perspective. If I go back over a number of years, it's not like my wealth went up every single quarter. There's some quarters where you had higher expenses, the investments could have gone down. Some instances you may take on debt, whatever the case is, life happens. But keeping track of your progress is also part of accountability. And what I had talked about on last week's episode, Eric, I wanted to get your thoughts, is I'm also a big believer in sharing your goals as an accountability component to them, because if you share with people that care about you and are in a position to help you, they will love you and help you achieve your goals. And then it also helps with accountability. For me, I call it the embarrassment factor, is that if I said to my wife or one of the team members here at Elliott Wealth Management, I said I was going to do X, I hold myself to a high standard. I'm, again, an A personality. I take that seriously to begin with. But once I start sharing it with other people, I don't want to be embarrassed. I want to live up to my word and what I said I was going to do. And I find a lot of people will keep their goals private. And I'm not saying, I'm on the, that I'm at the gym telling everybody what my financial goals are, people I don't even know. I mean, you have to be disciplined as to who you share and strategic on who you share with. But I like to share the goals. It helps me keep on track, keeps me accountable, and for me at least, throws in the embarrassment factor, because I really don't like being embarrassed.
Right. Most people don't like being embarrassed. And the fact of the matter is, when it comes to accountability, most people are absolutely terrible at holding themselves accountable. We're all great at holding somebody else accountable, but we're terrible at holding ourselves accountable. So yes, you do need, at the very least, I mean, the worst thing you can do for accountability is keep a goal to yourself.
Sure.
At the very least, you need to write it down. Commit it to paper or commit it to your computer somewhere where it's down and it should be in a place that you look on a regular basis so that it reminds you that, yes, you have that goal and you need to move forward on it. Better than that is having someone else to hold you accountable.
Sure.
This can be family. It can be friends. It can be coworkers. Depending on what the goal is, you should have a personal network of people that you feel comfortable sharing this with, who will hold you accountable. There's an old joke, when you fall down, a friend will pick you up. A best friend will stand there laughing and pointing at you. And that's the thing. You actually want that, because nobody wants to be laughed at. That's your thought. It's like, if I don't do this, I am never going to hear the end of it. So I am going to accomplish that goal. And then a lot of people, have trouble putting these networks together. And that's where companies like mine come in, where people hire coaches.
That's right.
To help them in their business, their life, their career. Accountability is a big thing that we do, because every coaching session we have ends with, well, before the next session, you need to do X, Y, and Z.
That's right.
And that next call or that next meeting is, all right, how did X, Y, and Z go? What do you mean you didn't do it? Why didn't you do it?
That is awesome. I was thinking too, and this is great. It's part of the reason why I wanted to have you on the show, is that we look at things very similarly, but we kind of draw on different experiences and different stories. And I'll just share one that I had heard, and maybe you've heard it too, but Arnold Schwarzenegger was not always fit and shape, muscular guy like he was at the height of his career. And so when he decided he wanted to get healthier and started working out, I guess he had a little bit of a belly. Have you heard this before?
I have, yes.
Yeah. So just to catch everybody up, so he would wear half shirts, which I guess back in the day, half shirts were a little bit more appropriate than they are in today's style and fashion. Not that either one of us are the most.
I don't know that they were ever fashionable.
Yeah. But he wore a half shirt, so he would show his belly, and he was embarrassed about his belly. Talk about accountability. You know, how many people would be that motivated and that committed to being in shape that they were going to embarrass themselves by wearing a half shirt, when wearing a half shirt in and of itself is embarrassing, and it's even more embarrassing if you don't have, I think, the body to pull it off. But that's another great example. And I'm glad you brought up the coaching, because our businesses are different, but in many ways they're the same, because we do financial coaching for our clients. And that accountability, that partnership, that's talking through the goals. Why? What are the obstacles? Why haven't you done it in the past? It's incredibly important when you get to things that are important in life. And you also look, even the top athletes, take Tiger Woods. There's the big golf tournament going on as we're recording this, right?
Yeah, the Travelers.
TPC in Connecticut. Is, that person has coaches. Tiger Woods has a coach, and he's one of the greatest golfers in the world. So we all need someone to help us in one or more parts of our lives, and that's okay. You don't need to do it all yourself all the time across all the areas of life. And that's why your firm, which I want to have you give out your website and how they could get more information from you. That's why your firm provides a great service. I think that's why me and my role as a certified financial planner is valuable as we help clients win with money. So thanks for joining me, Eric. For those that are listening and they'd like to find out more about you and the Modern Observer Group, also noting that you're very entrepreneurial, you tend to have yourself involved in a number of different projects, how could they get more information about the Modern Observer Group?
The easiest way is go to modernobserver.com. We've got all the information on the website. And from the website, you can email, call us, see about what our services are. We also run networking events around Connecticut. You can find the schedule on the website. So you can actually come out, meet with other business people, see what they're doing. And, you know, we've talked a lot about